home winners. All right, gentlemen, here it is. And the first try came after 2 minutes.
Yeah, Parramatta must have wondered what hit them, because we had Eastonshurst strolling through for some very, very easy tries, and the defence was non-existent in that first 5 or 10 minutes.
Look at the gap here, that they gave between Cronin and Kenny. Amazing.
It looked as though each of them thought the other one was going to do the tackling. But that was the worst effort of attempt to tackle.
If there is a weakness in Parramatta, it is Mackenzie.
And yet, Case, after that, he didn't put a foot wrong. He didn't put a foot wrong all day.
I've been giving it to Mackenzie for some weeks, but he come to the fore yesterday, and some of the bombs that he took were magnificent.
Look at Edge here. What an imposter. Look at that.
Yeah, now, you wait, you see the two who tackle him, Sterling and Mackenzie.
Two smallest blokes in the team.
Look how Riley out there. That you could have driven the Queen Mary through that gap,
right.
and yet...
Now, here's the comeback. Now, after 11 minutes... Williams handles twice, Muggleton did the good work, and then onto Sterling and Kenny outside of him, and this try was going nowhere when they went back in field, but of course Sterling took it out to the right side, and Kenny goes in.
Case, in all these clips, you look at the passing of this Muggleton. He's one of the best passers of the ball that we've seen in the last 10 years.
They taught him at Balmain.
There was also a mighty game by Cronin too. You saw him stand in the tackle there to one load, and he stands in another tackle later on, which leads to another try. Mick made a bit of a shaky start, most unlike Cronin.
That could have been forward.
That pass there, that's right.
Did you think it might have been forward, Greg?
Well, we did at the time, and the other fact there that the halfback, Sterling, he didn't even look where he was passing the ball. He knew Kenny was right there.
Like
Hastings, there's an intercept
top
here.
combination.
Now look, Hastings dummies, and of course by that time Ella had a chance to read it, and Ella goes in for the try. That was a big turning point too, because that made it 8-all with the conversion.
It's a sign of a pretty good team, isn't it, to come back up from 8-0 to score 30 points without the opposition scoring another point.
I like the way they didn't get flustered. They were down 8-0, but they stuck to their pattern, not unlike the grand final last year. They just kept going along, doing what they do best. No frills football, waiting for the break.
This is where this try was made, when O'Reilly first gave that pass back there. I know Ella is due for the credit for it, and then it comes back to Williams, but I thought that really that was all set up by O'Reilly's pass.
Yeah.
On Williams now, with the form that he's displaying, he's got to be one of the best finishers in the game.
Ella topped 10 minutes in the sin bin, and amazingly only one try was scored while he was off the field. This is it. Martini goes through Webb and Gurr onto Edge, who went on like a bit of a prima donna, jumping up and down there as though it was some big deal, when actually all the work was done by someone else. Stephen is starting to be a bit of a bore, Stephen Edge.
And only drew the scrums 8-all against that former reserve grade hooker.
Yes, which perhaps...
had they had more ball, Parramatta might have scored more points.
Yes.
I think we'll all acknowledge that it was a marvellous performance from Parramatta, but what about Eastern Suburbs? They've got monumental problems over there. They really have.
Excuse me, I've been saying that all season, and I'm glad the Crows have come home to roost. Is that the saying?
Roosters, I think.
Noel Cleal in the centre has been a bit of disappointment this year. They tried him in the second row. Didn't work, as most of us predicted, and now in the centre he's just not doing anything.
Well, there's only Gurr and that Barclay, I felt, and O'Reilly that played up to anything like that.
Isn't it funny that when the rot sets in a team, as it is with Eastern Suburbs, even players like Gurr make mistakes, as he is now, and Mackenzie goes in for the try.
Did you think Barclay had a good game, Frank, yesterday?
I thought he tried all day. Yes.
I thought he was ordinary. In patches he tried, and when he wants to try, he's got the strength. He can bust the line. Right. But he didn't do enough yesterday.
Now look, this is how what lack of concentration. Giddo can't even kick the ball 10 metres, and that was a sad note.
Chris, how are you settling into Sydney football?
Well, it's taken a while. I've sort of finding it a bit hard at first just to get me confidence and realise that, you know, it's just another game, so I just hope to take it from here.
Did all that legal wrangling over whether you could join Parramatta or not upset your form?
Oh, I can't blame that for it. I just haven't been playing too well myself. I don't know. I would have rather it all hadn't happened.
And Parramatta's equal record holder with 203 games, the Bear. How does it feel?
Well, it doesn't feel too good today, Ray. I received an injury just before half-time and couldn't continue in the second half. My knees have given me a little bit of a problem, but hopefully I'll get there for the 204th game, you know.
It's a funny thing about Bear. I was just talking to Billy Rayner, the previous record holder, with 203, and he tells me because you came off at half-time, it's only really 202 and a half.
Yeah, very jealous about that record, Bill is. He's had it for so long, he gets very jealous, so I'll try and go easy on him this week before I break it.
Next week breaks it? There's a presentation arranged, I gather.
Well, I don't know the situation is at the moment, I know there has been a liquidity problem at the club for quite a while, so I won't be holding my breath.
After 203 games, is it getting any easier?
No, it's getting harder, really hard.
Bob, the side's worst performance of the year?
Well, on the scoreboard you'd say yes, Ray, but I thought our performance against Cronulla was worst. If people were here at today's game, they'd probably say this was the worst, but I think there was one worse.
What did go wrong out there today?
Well, Parramatta are a side that like to keep the ball alive, and if you don't stop them from keeping the ball alive, you end up with a score like we did against them. We missed 25 tackles, but that's not an indication of our errors in the game. We just failed to put the player with the ball on the ground.
Are you looking for some improvement in the future? Will you sack players?
Improvement? Am I what? But, you know, as I say, it's we've got a 3-3 record, and we'll be there.
I think this is a Shepherd. Now have a look at a couple of these.
That's not a shepherd.
That's not a shepherd. Sterling should have knocked him down there. It was patting him on the back as he went through. He helped him on his way.
Well, excuse me, I disagree. I'm afraid I consider that a form of shepherding. Now, I know according to the rules it mightn't be, but you look, once again.
The tackler, well, that one
That is a
was.
shepherd.
I agree
That is a
with that
shepherd,
one,
without
but that's a
question.
totally different thing, Ron.